It's a fun time of the year in the racing world as a lot of Hall of Fames are honoring drivers from the past. And, well, the guy that I've got him with the phone, it's not just the past, but the present as well. Brett Hearn will go into the Eastern Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame next weekend down in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. He's going in with Billy Pauch Sr., Ace Lane, and, of course, Ted Christopher are we going in, and he'll be posthumously, of course. 920 wins over the course of Brett Hearn's career, somewhere in the 80s as far as championships is concerned. So we're going to talk about that, talk a little bit about one of the guys who's going in the Hall of Fame with him, and a little bit on Orange County Fair Speedway, as there was news earlier this week that they will be back. Eastern States will be back. If you missed my interview with Brett Deo, make sure to catch that because he is sponsoring a race on the Thursday of Eastern States. First of all, Brett, how are we doing today?
Great, Doug. Excellent. Thank you.
What's going on in Florida? Are you coming back up, obviously, for the Hall of Fame?
I am. I just came back down for a week. I've been down here part of the winter and enjoying the winter as a semi-retired race car driver. So it's been great.
And, of course, the key word there is semi, correct? We are coming back in 2024?
Yeah, actually, we're working on a schedule. You know, we're just kind of waiting for things to fall in place. I ran a limited schedule last year. That's about what I'd like to do this year. Of course, with Orange County schedule not being up or no one really knowing if and how many races they're going to run, it's a little bit difficult for us to lay out the rest of our plan. But I can tell you that we are planning on making the Dirt Nationals this year. Being the first time in a couple of years I've done that. And Gary Miller's got two relatively new cars, and he wants to race, so I'm on board.
All right, so we'll be at Florida this year then. Nice. Glad to hear that. So, well, you brought it up first, so let's go ahead and go it. There was a lot of speculation in the offseason about Orange County Fair Speedway. We just found out, I think it was just this week, although I might have missed an announcement if it came out earlier. Any thoughts on the return of Orange County?
Well, there was a time when it didn't look like there were going to be any races left at all, which would be kind of like a shame the way that it would end like that.
Yeah.
But it appears now that there's going to be a specials-only schedule. It certainly will put a big dent in the sport because that at one time Orange County was the hub of stock car racing as we know it, and in our area, at least in the Northeast anyway, in my mind anyway. And so yeah, it's going to be a bit of a void for guys who have a lot of equipment, and a lot of guys are going to be looking for a place to race it.
Yeah, because if it had not come back, I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it was a media member. It's on this channel, so look back and see if you could find it. But they said that had Orange County not come back, that just a little bit of an impact, but it could be a big impact as far as modifieds that would have maybe not traveled to other tracks, that it would be a big blow to the sport.
Well, one thing is for sure, Orange County has always had good participation, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of how many people were in the stands. The car counts have always been super healthy. That's the shame of it. I mean, I think that if there could ever be another track or another place where these guys could race at on Saturday night, somewhere relatively close to Middletown, I think that would be awesome. But, we just don't know what the future's going to hold.
Yeah,
and I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are, probably going to get out of the sport rather than travel. I do think that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the news is down the road, and hopefully it will be good news. Hopefully Orange County will be racing for many, many seasons to come. Eastern Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame induction next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend down in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And, when I looked at the list of everyone that was going in, you and Billy Pauch Sr., boy, talk about two big names in the sport. I mean, what do you guys have in common? But I guess we'll start there maybe, because you didn't race together a lot because you ran in different circles, literally. But what did you guys have in common?
So the interesting thing about that is, you could go back to when him and I were both, I think, 16, and we started our careers at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and that's kind of where we met, really, because on Saturday nights we would go in different directions. I would go to Middletown, he would go to Flemington.
I see.
And ultimately, I think if Billy and I have, we've always gotten along fine. We've never had a run-in on the track that I could ever remember, and I think if we have any rivalry, it's probably our egos more than anything, because we really didn't race against each other that much. I went from, even though we're both New Jersey guys, I went upstate and he went downstate, right? So he went down to, went out to Pennsylvania, and he went to a lot of racing in Jersey, where I went up to New York. So, like I said, we really didn't race against each other all that much, and But, when you add our numbers together collectively, it's pretty remarkable.
Well, how far apart were you guys? How far apart are the cities that you grew up in? I don't know New Jersey very well.
I would say just maybe, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So it really is amazing that it went that way, isn't it? You would think that, by looking at basic geography, you guys would have raced against each other hundreds, maybe thousands of times.
Yeah, I think we just had a little bit different attitude. He didn't really like chasing points and chasing championships.
Gotcha.
He'd rather chase wins. I felt like for me, the championships were a bigger mark on the body of work, not just a night of racing. So we just did different things, and we looked at things a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, we're both, probably at the top of the all-time list of anybody that ever sat in one of these kind of cars. So, and he, obviously, he did a lot of different things. I've run through different cars. I ran the Chili Bowl and did, got a couple sprint wins. But he was quite achieved at other types of racing on a part-time basis that he did. So maybe a little bit more so than I was.
Yeah, he used to come up to Fulton for the Victoria 200, and I remember that was always a race that Dirt always ran a big race that weekend too. So there's a lot in common, similar win totals. You guys, I think you can't name two guys who dominated maybe more during that time frame than the two of you, can you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody's even, in terms of numbers, I don't think anybody's even close.
Okay. Is there one race or one event that you remember that the two of you might have raced against each other for something, or is it just a blur at this stage?
I think the only one that I can remember pretty vividly was beating him at the Flemington 200. I'm trying to remember what year that was. It might have been, between 89 and 90. I always took a lot of pride in being able to go into his home track and beat him. He never did it to me at Middletown.
Oh, no?
I did it at Flemington. Not often, but for the amount of times that I raced there, I got my fair share.
Mm-hmm. So I would imagine, even though you guys... No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I guess if you could, if you could ever draw any, kind of parallel on our careers, he obviously dominated Flemington. I dominated Orange County. And I was able to go in his backyard and take a little bit away from him, and he never did that to me.
What do you think it'll be like because obviously the two of you will come face to face at some point on that weekend. What do you think you might say to each other?
Congratulations, man.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is this, right? It is pretty cool. When you think about, EMPA is all types of racing, right?
Yes.
Not just dirt racing. It's drag racing and every other thing that happened on the East Coast. So, it's a pretty nice honor.
And that'll be taking place, like we said, next weekend. I'm gonna let Brett go. He, like we said, will be up for that show. So if you haven't made plans, make sure to go to the EMPA convention next weekend in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, up there. So, and again, the photo you're looking at is from my collection. A lot of them I have. Brett is one of the guys I photographed a lot. So I'll make sure I find a way to get those to you somewhere down the road, Brett. Make sure to subscribe, like, turn on the notifications, all that stuff. Brett, I appreciate you getting back to me, and congratulations on the upcoming honor.
Awesome, Doug. Maybe I'll see you there. Thanks.
You take care, man. Thanks again.